Hi there everyone, Rob here once again with WesternPacificWeather.com. Today we're going to be looking at Tropical Cyclone Alenga out here well west of Australia, but now the Bureau of Meteorology has started warning on this tropical cyclone. It is actually being considered a severe tropical cyclone with winds upwards of 90 knots with gusts above 100 knots right now. So it has strengthened beyond the max forecasted out here, but looks like that is going to start weaken rapidly here in the next 48 hours as it hits some high amount of vertical wind shear. And also, when we look to the Western Pacific today, we're looking at some heavy rain showers across much of the Philippines and even Japan. Both separate systems. One's those easterly lows moving across the Philippines today, while a polar westerly is moving across Japan. That's bringing some rain and also cooler temperatures by the weekend here as well. But first, let's look at Tropical Cyclone Alenga here. But as already stated, though, Tropical Cyclone Alenga here really did intensify beyond which was really originally forecasted. Now up to 90, gusting up to 110 knots. So really a strong system, but fantastic news. It really is far away from any land masses out here. You can see this overall great circulation amidst of this. Got a little dry air inflow coming in from the west, and that's really going to be one of the killers of the system. But also, notice all this cloudiness down here towards the southeast. Well, with that, there's going to be an increase in vertical wind shear. This is all associated with an upper level trough, and if we just pull up the shear chart and overlay it on top of this IR differential here, you can see that down here towards the south, 50, 60 knots a shear, even 30 knots right near the southern periphery of this, and that, as the storm starts to track off towards the southeast here, is going to be really the main killer and destruction of this storm in the forecast. And let's just look at one of the model outlooks, the GFS one, the one I really usually like to use out here, and this one seems to have a good handle on this storm. It does show it intensifying up here as it starts to track off towards the southeast on Friday and the Saturday here, but as you see this upper level trough kind of lingering all the way down here just off the west coast of Australia here, and basically extending from Perth up towards Learmouth ahead of this high pressure system out here towards the west. That is going to pull this quickly off towards the southeast and really weaken it over the weekend. And we look into Friday, Saturday, and then eventually into Sunday here, the storm basically dissipates out to all really not much left of it from its former self. And then definitely by the next week into Monday and then even into Tuesday here, the storm completely dissipates out. Learmouth here and even down into Perth, you could see some rain showers out of this and maybe some isolated thunderstorms, but not expecting any of those gusty winds as the gradient's really going to loosen off out of the system, and really overall the system is going to collapse in on itself. But let's look at what some of the agencies are forecasting. Starting with the official one from the Bureau of Meteorology here, showing the storm gradually working its way off towards the southeast. They expect it to gradually intensify before weakening, just like the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, and also no warnings or even watches have been posted for the west coast of Australia here. So something to note there as well. They're not expecting any significant weather. And the Joint Typhoon Warning Center matches up on the Bureau of Meteorology's prediction here. They expect the winds to max out about 95, gusting up to 115 knots here on today and into tonight. But by tomorrow, that rapid decrease in intensity, dropping down to tropical storm strength by the 10th. And that's really what they're expecting here as it hits that upper level winds and a lot of those wind shears, and it gets quickly pulled off towards the southeast due to that trough. So something to mention there, and really the storm is a good storm to watch out to see and something to really kind of marvel at, and with the intensity and how it strengthened up really quickly. But good news is that it's going to remain well away from land, and not expecting to impact one there in Australia. But that's all with that storm. Let's look back off here towards the north over the Philippines. You're seeing an exceptionally high amount of rainfall today. Manila in the past 24 hours reporting upwards of 90 to 100 millimeters of rain. Many of the areas across Visayas seeing between 100 and 120 millimeters, and actually I saw one area here on Leyte seeing upwards of 150 millimeters of rainfall with this area of energy moving across the country today. And you're not even seeing anything organized with this. It's just a big broad area of energy combined with the afternoon heating there in the Philippines, and you're seeing all this push off towards the west. And also over Vietnam, this energy is going to continue to push with the easterlies here and also cause heavy rainfall there across the eastern part of the country. And also we look off towards the north, and there's an area of low pressure moving over Japan today. Good news, that looks like it's going to continue to push off towards the east. But behind that, see all these stratocumulus clouds forming on the IR imagery here, or basically all this banding coming in from the northwest towards the southeast. That is a clear and definite indication of cold air coming in off of Siberia. And we just look at this precipitation over superimposed with the 500 millibars out here, or a thickness chart we like to call it in meteorological terms. You can see this 540 line and the 528 line. I've been talking about those the last few days. And you see how that starts to dip down? That's indicating that colder air pushing south with that cold surge on Saturday and the Sunday. So with that said, you could see temperatures dipping down to freezing in much of Korea and even parts of Japan, well below freezing here, especially up towards Hokkaido. You're going to be seeing snow showers, but even down towards the Kanto Plain in Tokyo, you could see some temperatures well into the single digits and even in the freezing, especially overnight on Saturday and the Sunday with these cooler temperatures. And also, while I have this up here, we also can indicate that rainfall across the Philippines over the weekend here, expecting that to continue to persist and pushing off towards Vietnam before it turns off here towards the northeast and eventually off just south of Japan as a new low forms up there. But definitely expect rainfall to continue to persist across this region and even towards Indochina and even down towards Malaysia and Indonesia. You continue to see that monsoonal trough persist as well. So not going to be a great weekend there in the Philippines. Definitely not a beach-going weekend, and could expect that rainfall to cause some localized flooding and even the potential for some mudslides in some of those areas that are really getting drenched with the rain, specifically along southern Luzon and parts of Visayas there. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, as usual, please post them in the comment box below. And also, if you have any suggestions out here on its particular zones that you want me to zoom in on for your local weather, please let me know that as well. I really enjoy that feedback and really thrive on it as far as getting that information out. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.